Now, let me make it clear to you that housing is infrastructure, and Prince Georgians, like Americans across the nation, deserve access to affordable housing. No one should be forced to choose between an apartment and groceries or a home and health care. But during the pandemic, we saw that housing was unaffordable for millions. Many paid more than half their income in rent, or worse, became homeless after losing their jobs. That's why the Biden administration's goal to support an additional 1 million affordable rental housing units is so very important. Like clean water, power, and public transit, quality affordable housing is infrastructure. No matter your age or occupation, every American deserves a comfortable and affordable place to call home. Today, we're right here in Prince George's County because Glenarden is a success story. Glenarden Hills provides low-income seniors comfort, dignity, and community. At the same time, this community is an example of a win-win partnership between government and private companies that build housing. With our success at Glenarden, Prince George's County is moving forward confidently with our 10-year plan called Housing for All to serve the needs of residents. We're working to build thousands of affordable units to help supplement our growing stock of housing. Everyone deserves a wonderful place to live, whether they're rich or poor, and no matter their age. Projects like this are possible when we work together with our partners in state and federal government, but they require each of us to show our support. And what I can tell you is that when we all work together as one government and as one community, there is absolutely nothing we can't accomplish. In fact, there is an African proverb that I often quote, and I believe it is so true, that says, if you want to go quickly, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. Surely we are going together, and I am so proud of it. I also just want to acknowledge Angie Rogers, who is our Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, who's here for Economic Development, and thank her for her leadership. And now I'd like to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Congressman Anthony Brown, who has represented us just so beautifully. We want to thank you, Congressman Brown, for your leadership, and thank you so much for working so hard to make sure that Prince Georgians remain the focus of all of our work, and that Prince George's County remains the crown jewel of Maryland. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam County Executive, and what a privilege it is to be able to serve in public office in partnership with outstanding public servants like my good friend Angela also Brooks, who's not only focused on delivering more affordable quality housing regardless of income, but also in the other investments that we need to make to ensure that those who do reside in Prince George's County have access to quality schools, a quality transportation system, and a world-class healthcare system. So I thank you, Angela, for your partnership. I want to thank Senators Cardin and Senator Van Hollen, working real hard this week to send some work product over to the House real soon. I want to thank them for their leadership. But of course, I want to thank and welcome my dear friend, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I had the privilege of serving with Marcia Fudge for 4 years in the House of Representatives, and I saw nothing less than a fighter for affordable quality housing. She fought for housing. She fought against poverty. She's fought against injustice and for reform, whether it's criminal justice reform, policing reform, but a true champion for all Americans. So I want to welcome you, Madam Secretary, to Prince George's County, and also thank you. Thank you for accepting the offer from President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris to serve as this nation's Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. This is an administration that understands, as the county executive said, housing is infrastructure. But it's an administration that also understands that housing is more than just the bricks and the mortar, the wood and the steel. Housing is a place where people call home. It's a place and a space where people raise a family, where they take care of their children and their parents. It's a place from which they do take advantage of quality education and transportation and enter into the workplace. And that's why I was so excited earlier this week when President Biden extended the eviction moratorium and pledged to work with states to push out that $46 billion in rental assistance to make sure that no American loses their home during this pandemic or ever. And that's why I'm proud and I'm pleased Marcia, that you joined an administration that is willing to invest $260 billion in infrastructure, in the American Family Plan, to make sure that whether it's workforce housing, affordable housing, senior housing, veterans housing, no American, regardless of income, struggles with housing. Whether it's food security, housing security, this is an administration that gets it. We put people first. So thank you, Madam Secretary, for accepting that invitation. And again, welcome to Prince George's County and Maryland's 4th Congressional District. Now it's my honor to be able to turn the microphone over to a dear friend of mine, a real champion. He's a mentor of sorts. He is the leader of Maryland's congressional delegation, my good friend, Ben Cardin.
Anthony, Representative Brown, thank you so much for that introduction, but more importantly, thank you for everything you're doing in the House of Representatives. Your leadership on transportation issues, your leadership on affordable housing, your leadership on protecting renters during COVID-19 and dealing with this pandemic has made an incredible difference in the actions of the House of Representatives. The United States Senate's trying to catch up to you. So we're going to try to move a lot of the bills that have moved through the House. Secretary Fudge, welcome to Prince George's County. Welcome to Glen Arden Hills. We're very proud of this development. But you should know, this is here because of the extraordinary confidence and leadership that we have in Prince George's County. And it starts with the county exec, Angela Alsobrooks. She has provided inspirational leadership for this county and gives confidence of a bright future for the people of the county. So I applaud her because this particular program could not have taken place without the commitment of Prince George's County and its leaders. But we also needed the private sector to have confidence in the community, to be able to put in the investment, and they did, and thank you very much for doing that. You needed every single federal tool you could find, and they're not enough. Make no mistake about it. The low-income housing tax credit, great. Some of our direct funding programs, great. But it's not enough. You were able to do this because you could put together all these different partners, including the state and the federal government. So we have over 400 units, wonderful here. Affordable housing, market rate housing, home ownership, that's exactly what we need. It's Congressman Brown said, the growth and confidence of neighborhoods depends upon affordable housing. Economic growth depends upon affordable housing. And we need to do more. So Secretary Fudge, Senator Van Hollen and I are here with some good news. We're on path to pass the second part of President Biden's Build Back Better. We already got the American Rescue Plan in law, lifting families out of poverty and creating opportunities, getting COVID behind us, doing what we need, helping state and local government. Right, Angela? You got some help out of that bill? And this week, maybe as early as tomorrow, we're going to pass the bipartisan infrastructure package, which is the next step. We're not finished. We got the budget we're going to get done next, and we're going to start that as early as this weekend because we need all those tools coming together to deal with the challenges that we're facing. This is once-in-a-generation opportunity to get this done. And the good news is that we have a major commitment to affordable housing in Build Back Better. I can mention a lot of different things. I'm very proud of the Neighborhood Investment Act. It's bipartisan. I followed it with Senator Portman, the two of us. President Biden has included it in Build Back Better. And here, where this comes in, because the construction costs here many times can exceed the market value. And that gives a credit for the difference so that we can have market rate housing in our community that's affordable. That's what we're doing. So many different tools. We got to increase the low-income housing tax credit. And we talked about that. We have to make that work better. So we're committed to doing this, working together as a team. I want to tell you, our leader on the Committee of Jurisdiction for Affordable Housing is Chris Van Hollen. He has done a tremendous work to deal with affordable housing, with transit, the budget. He's on the Budget Committee. He's bringing our caucus together, and he's bringing the Senate together so that we can pass President Biden's Build Back Better so America truly offers opportunity for all. The challenges are great. 400 units here. We have 130,000 deficiency of affordable housing in Maryland alone. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. And I am so proud to have as my partner and the leader on affordable housing, our Senator Chris Van Hollen.
Thank you, Ben. Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Senator Cardin. And Madam Secretary, we're just thrilled to have you here in Maryland, in Prince George's County. And I want to join my colleagues in welcoming you. And Senator Cardin, our friend Ben, has been a great partner. And of course, when it comes to housing, has been a leader. He mentioned the legislation, the neighborhood investment legislation that he's introduced. Anthony Brown, as he said, as Senator Cardin said, Anthony Brown has been working at the lead with our House delegation and with Speaker Pelosi to move important legislation over to the Senate, and we're just trying to catch up with you. And thank you for all your leadership. And to our county executive, also Brooks, thank you. You're just the example of a leader in action for your community, and we're really grateful to have you here. And Secretary Fudge is going to talk about, and we're here to join her in talking about, President Biden's Build Back Better agenda. And the Build Back Better agenda began day one with trying to defeat the pandemic and save the economy from going into a total free fall. And that is why we worked urgently with the President, with Secretary Fudge, to pass the American Rescue Plan. It went through the Senate with the tightest vote possible. The Vice President of the United States cast the vote allowing it to proceed. But that has helped us deploy vaccines faster and more fairly, and with leadership of county executives like County Executive Alsorbrook, been able to make sure that here in Maryland, we distribute those vaccines. Now, obviously, we still have a fight with the Delta variant, but we are much farther down the road because of the American Rescue Plan, which also helped save the economy from free fall. So that was step one. But as Secretary Fudge and President Biden have said, building back to where we were pre-pandemic, that's not good enough. We have to build back better. And that's what we're here today to talk about. That means modernizing our infrastructure, but also making sure we're there for American families, including extending the child tax credit, which gives American families up to $300 a month per child to help support the household. And that's why we've got to continue the other parts of the president's bill. Now, Senator Cardin mentioned that we are at work passing a bipartisan infrastructure bill. And it is absolutely essential that we build out our transit systems, that we repair our roads, our highways, our bridges, invest in our ports. All of that's essential. But the bipartisan infrastructure bill does not include housing as infrastructure. The president understands, the Secretary Fudge understands, we all understand that housing is the bedrock of infrastructure. It's the foundation for infrastructure. The backbone's important, the transit systems are important, roads are all essential to getting people to and from work and in their daily lives. But you need a safe, secure place to call home. You need home base. That is the bedrock of infrastructure. And that's why we're here today. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we did provide $46 billion to help keep people in their homes during this pandemic. And I want to thank County Executive Alsorbrook because she has gotten those funds out the door to help people stay in their homes faster than any other place in the state of Maryland, any other county. So that's to keep people in their homes during an emergency. But we have an affordable housing crisis, and that's why we're here today. And the Build Back Better plan, the next phase of it that we're going to take up in the House and the Senate, is focused on major investments in affordable housing, up to over $300 billion, including the home program, which helps support this great development. And thank you to folks at Penrose and all the partners here, as well as additional funds for the low-income tax credit, among other housing programs. There's not just one tool, there are many tools. We need to put them all to work. And the person who is in charge of doing that is the person we have here today. And I must say it was a joy and honor to work for years alongside my friend, Congresswoman Marcia Fudge, during our time in the House. And I was so pleased to see her take on this new job as Secretary of HUD, because this is the moment where we have to move our country forward. This is a moment where we have to make sure that our economy works for every single person, not just those who've already made it to the top. And that's what this is all about. So to Secretary Fudge, thank you for your leadership. I'm going to bring up here somebody who wakes up every single morning thinking about how to make life better for all of the American people. Our friend, Secretary Marcia Fudge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is such a pleasure to be here with you today. County Executive, my friends, former colleagues, thank you so much. I just want you to know that what is great about this morning, besides the fact I got up on this side of glory, besides that, is I am with people who I am so aligned with this morning. You know, the Bible tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. This is visionary leadership. And let me tell you why. As I look at this, all of this around me, and then know that there are 580,000 people who sleep on the streets in this country every night, I know this is visionary leadership. And I know why, because they understand, just like our president understands, that it is time to make changes in this country that we have not made in generations. And I don't say that lightly. Generations. We are about to make generational change because our president understands the need. There is no place in this country today where a person making minimum wage can afford a 2-bedroom apartment. There is no place in this country today where people can afford a house that used to be affordable. Housing prices have gone up so much that the average person can no longer buy a home in this country. And so I'm just here to basically say that it is a new day in this country. And it is a new day at HUD. We know that there are things that we must do now, because I do not believe that if we pass up this opportunity, we will ever be able to do it again. Right now, we have the will. And that's what we have been lacking for so long, the will to make change, the will to take care of people who need our help. You know, when COVID first hit us, what is the first thing they said to us? Stay home. What if you didn't have a home? Then they said to us, don't send your children to school. Let them learn virtually. What happened if you didn't have high-speed internet or broadband, which is getting ready to change right now? We still have places in this country where people don't have clean drinking water in this nation, the greatest nation in the world. We're getting ready to change that right now. This bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to make an investment that we have not seen in decades. In decades. You know, people say, oh, it's not big, it's not the. This is the best thing I have seen in a very long time. And I have served this nation in some capacity for more than 30 years. But the Build Back Better plan is where I'm getting excited. We are going to build more than 2 million affordable homes. We're going to increase, as I look at Penrose, we're going to increase the amount that you can use from LIHTC, and we're creating new low-income housing tax credits. We know that if we don't act now, that we will forever be in a position where some people will never, ever have a decent place to live. In this nation, home. Home is where we grow. Home is where we find and believe in what we can do. Home is a place that every single person should have, and it should be a home that people can live in with dignity and respect. And that is what this is. No longer does this nation look at people who are just struggling on the outskirts of hope. Those people will no longer be looked at, looked down, looked as if they are not deserving. It is a new day in this country. And I'm so pleased to have been asked to do this job. I am having a ball. I have figured out how much I can help people. I have figured out that we can help people buy homes through FHA in a way that we've never done it before. We have figured out that we can assist private developers to make this happen all across the country because the federal government doesn't have enough money to build enough housing for people to live in. So I thank you. We've also figured out that there are people, like the people standing behind me, that want to help us do it. We have for too long gone to a place where there are winners and losers in this nation. I want everybody to be a winner. My job is to be the voice for people who have no voice. My job is to be the person who fights for those who cannot fight for themselves. That is what I see here. This is a model of the work that everyone should be doing across the country, and it is my profound pleasure to be with your leadership so that I can go back and brag enough about it that other people will want to do it. I thank you all so very, very much, and we're going to go over here to our program, but I want to say this last thing. If we don't make this better, we will have failed. I don't fail. I don't believe in failure. We are going to make a difference in this country. Our president has said that we must. We're going to look at it through a lens of equity. We're going to look at it through a lens of poverty. We are going to make the changes in this country that I know we can. And if for some reason you don't think we've done enough, call me and tell me what I need to do, because I'm certainly willing to listen. Thank you so much.